Good evening. Welcome to the Plastic Crap Podcast, and we're all in the wrong places.
We are. I'll sort that out. Hang on.
All right, cool.
Oh, excuse me.
There we go.
Yeah, episode 20, season 4, episode 21, work in progress. Da, da, da. Or whip, as my colleagues like to say.
I thought you meant I thought you meant the podcast was a work in progress.
That's what I thought.
It's still a work in progress. Yeah.
One day.
Yes, one day. So welcome everyone. You haven't got a part of seeing me this week. I'm not going to say why, but these three know.
To be honest, I think you should say why, because otherwise we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken's a nugget.
Yeah. So I decided to start off a 3D print
Drink.
For 48 hours.
God.
Drink.
Oh God, yeah.
Sorry, it's been 2 weeks. I don't know.
Got Heineken, so it's all right. It's good. So yeah, and it's 48 hours, and I'm about 19 hours into it, and then I thought, oh, I know, the filament, the extruder goes, not the extruder, the hot end goes up to like 200 degrees Celsius, so it's rather warm. Plus my computer, so I might be sat here in very little clothing.
It's soup.
Yes,
people, just let that image sink in over the next 2 hours. I'm sure you'll thank me later.
He's currently creating his own contrast paint.
Yes, I am. Yeah. So yes, no camera for me this week. Instead, you get a beautiful picture of my wedding day. So there you go, me, Martin, and Dom.
That was a good day.
Dom, you do look really happy, though, to be fair, with that beer in your hand.
Always happy with a beer in your hand.
Yeah,
it's the way to be.
He had a great old day. We all did, but then Dom got to sit at the back and watch me try and do that.
Yeah,
that reading that you gave me like 35 seconds before the wedding started.
It was great. It was just me and Haley doing a running commentary on how nervous you two looked, and just drink beer and wine. It's fantastic.
Free bottle Haley. Yes.
Yeah, free bottle Haley. Yeah. Kept saying, really? Is it free? Yeah, keep just drinking it, Haley. It needs to go. I've paid for it. Just drink it.
It
did. We want to thank everyone, obviously, for watching on the replay. These boys must have been waiting on tender hooks to see if I'd forget that again. So lovely, yeah. Hartman said, getting the PCP calendar ready for 20. Do you know what? That is a really good idea.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Although, unless we get a collection of the best, maybe like an OPC one, if we sort to Warren and everyone and get the best of the OPC challenges.
That's a good idea.
12 months of OPC, yeah.
A calendar. We're not going to do a WI style one, Ken, where you're sitting there with 2 pots of contrast paint.
No.
Hiding your modesty.
Yes. Oh, people might want to see that. You never know.
I'd be handing out waivers if we ever did that. That would just be awful.
Wait, I thought you said quavers.
I thought you said quavers.
Quavers to watch it. Is that you're hearing quavers go?
Dear. Right. Sorry, back to business. Let's get on with the show. So, this week, what we've all been up to. So, let's start with Dom. Go on, Dom. What millions of bits
I've done nothing.
Have you really?
No, literally, I've done nothing. I've been on holiday for a week, so I've done absolutely.
Well, you didn't even do any research. You didn't buy a book. You didn't come back with a new project in mind.
Nope, nothing at all, mate. I literally, I did read up on my.
There you go.
I did read up on the pike and shot thing, but that was it, really. Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, did you take that with you? Did you?
Yeah. That was your reading, and I just actually I read a historical fiction book. So
what's that?
It's Ken Follett. Oh God, what's it called? I'll come back to you. Can't remember.
Yeah, no worries.
It's about Pillars of the Earth. That's the one. Yeah.
What's it called?
Pillars of the Earth.
Pillars of the Earth. Okay. When's that set then?
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm still halfway through it actually, but I'm really enjoying it.
Oh no, spoilers.
Have you watched it?
No, I haven't.
The series. I really enjoyed the series because it's produced by Ridley Scott. It's got some good actors. It's set in the anarchy.
Yeah.
But there's a sequel. If you talk about the books, there's a sequel that's sort of set at the start of the 100 Years' War, and he's just written a prequel. But it follows like it's not necessarily the same characters, so it's not spoiling anything. It just follows the place. And
Oh, that's good to know.
It's on Audible, Ken.
Yeah, it's on Audible.
Oh, that's right. I've started reading now. It's crazy. I'm through my 9th book of the year already. Insane, and they're not. They all haven't got illustrations. Board game as well.
There is. I've played it. It's ace. Wow. Yeah, it's ace. Yeah. It's like worker placement and stuff because you're trying to build the cathedral.
Do you know? I feel like I've missed out on this entirely, mainly because I don't. It's not the sort of book I would ever normally pick up. But I was looking through Audible before I went away, and I thought, oh, you know what?
Why not?
Gonna get that for something different.
When you've read it, I would recommend watching the series that came out about 10 years ago. It's got Ian McShane in it. It's got Eddie Redmayne. The guy who plays Tom Builder is I can't remember, Rufus Sewell. He's in lots of. You'll recognize. He's in He's always plays the bad guy. He's English.
Oh, cool.
Welsh already. He always plays a bad guy in everything.
Awesome!
Yeah.
I'm going to look out for all this. No, brilliant. No. That's my lot. That's all I did. Oh, and drink lots of beer and wine and cocktails.
Lots of beer and cocktails. And obviously, we are sponsored by the beautiful Boards and Swords there in Derby, the hosts of CrackCom. Make sure you head over to their website for the code P. It's PCP, isn't it?
It is PCP 5.
PCP 5 for an additional 5% discount on top of their already superb discounts. Yeah, some of their stuff's even 20% off, isn't it? So you get 25. So it's even better.
They are.
Get on it. So yeah, that's Dom then. Jesus, Dom, that must be like one of the quickest updates you've ever had. Yeah?
There you go.
Literally, normally when you've gone away, you've come back with a new hobby, and we've spoke about that for 20 minutes. But
no.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Did you have a nice holiday though, Dom?
I had a lovely holiday, mate.
It looked like you enjoyed yourself.
I'll tell you what, the one thing I will say from that, because we were down in Turkey, in Antalya, that's the name, which is very close to Farsala, where Alexander the Great marched down to. And I sat there. We went on a day trip down the coast on boats and whatnot. And I just thought, Jesus, how the hell did somebody with an army that's based on, men in armor and horses and wagons manage to march such huge distances and fight battles in that kind of heat? Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's incredibly mountainous as well. So that was also extreme. So yeah, that was that. But I always do that. I don't know about you guys, but I go places and I think, especially where the sort of history's happened, and you think, try and put yourself in their shoes and think, how the hell did they manage to do that?
Yeah.
Extraordinary. Anyway, yeah, that was it.
Awesome, mate. That's cool. So let's move on to you, Steve. What have you been up to, sir?
Weirdness.
That's the best kind.
How weirdness?
Let me show you. So, as everyone knows, I really, really, really love the game Space Weirdos. It's just a fantastic, fantastic rule set for £5. You can't go wrong with that. It's £5. And the good thing about it is there's no background, there's no lore, there's no fluff, there's no factions, there's no nothing. You get to make it all up as you make it up as you go along. Cool. It's miniature agnostic. There's no figure range. You use anything, absolutely anything. So what I did the other week was I picked up.
You do like those miniature agnostic games, don't you, Steve?
Love them.
I've learning this about you.
Just brilliant. So to start off with, I've never had any of these before, so these are just right. So pick these up. Stargrave Mercenaries.
Stargrave stuff. Okay.
So I bought these just as a bit of an experiment, because I wanted to see what they were like to paint up, because I want to use them for Space Weirdos. Now I've got a very specific aesthetic that I want for my my Space Weirdos figures. They're going to be sort of classic retro sci-fi, quite bright. So that's what I went with. So let's have a look.
We're talking like 80s sci-fi, 70s sci-fi, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. So the first ones I painted up were I paint these individually. I don't batch paint these. So these were the first ones that I did.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah. Oh, you treat each one as like, do you treat everyone as like a character sort of thing?
Yes. And that's what I'm going to do is eventually each character will have its own card with its stats and its weapons, its equipment and skills.
Oh, I like that.
They're
and
very
points, and that way you'll be able to just sit down. Because I mean, most Space Weirdos games have about four figures per side. So if you want to build a gang of 75 points, you just mix and match the cards so you get your the value of your gang. So I painted those in about 2 days, and I was like, "These are absolutely brilliant to paint. It's such a lovely
really
plastic.
Nice colours as well. Nice colours.
Well, so I mean, I don't normally paint bright colours.
Getting serious Akira vibes there as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
I saw those sort of bright colours was your Landschnecks.
Yes, well, they definitely get. I think James mentioned that they definitely give me practice with painting bright colours. But I've been using a whole different technique again with washes, not using a wash as a wash, but using it as a paint to paint into creases, and then doing sort of 2 or 3 layers of highlights. So then I bought some more. I didn't buy some more. I built some more of the mercenaries. There's another 4.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Man, yeah. I like that guy on the right. That's really nice. I like the contrasting colours on that.
These are all women. This is a woman only box. They're all female. But I just think that the combinations and the sculpts are fantastic. Really crisp sculpts. And I just wanted them to pop. I really wanted them to pop. So
I think you achieved that.
There we go. There's 8 of them that I've done so far. And here they all are in situ around a trader's building.
Mixes.
Yeah. So then what I did after I did them, I thought, well, I love painting these, so I'm going to pick some more up. So I picked up a box of troopers and crew. And the good thing about these is these kits, you can kit bash them. They just go together really well.
Together.
Yeah, they're just so they work together. And I saw 2 of them, and I thought I've got to paint these in a certain way. So this is my take on who shot first, Han or Greedo. So I painted them like that.
That's nice.
I like that. I like that.
There's just something about them that they just remind us that because that head looks like Greedo without the ear things on top of his head. But there's definitely something a bit Star Warsy about them.
Just a tad.
Yeah,
even the colours you've nailed down. Stuff.
That's what I mean. I spent ages trying to get the colours right. But I'm really enjoying these. And I finished. So I finished their crew. So there's 4 in those. I'm not taking any photographs of them. And I'm using the Troopers box because in the lore that I'm creating for my Space Weirdos background, it's going to be set in the same place with the same characters, the same gangs, crews, salvagers, scavengers, etc., mercenaries. But it's also going to be a horrible, badass private mercenary company or private military company. And the troopers really set it up really well because they've got they're quite armored and they look futuristic, but not as futuristic as the other guys. But yes, that's what I'm up to, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's been so enjoyable just painting bright colours.
That's cool.
And when we go on to talk about future projects later,
who's got music playing?
What is that?
It's not me.
What can I hear music?
Yeah, who's playing music?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like me.
It's not me.
It's not me.
Definitely not me. How weird is that?
Oh shit! I've clicked the bloody music background. Oh,
you dingbat!
Well, at least it's on StreamYard. You're not going to just don't.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get sued.
There's a space one here, Steve. Look, for your space weirdos. Apparently, you're going into space with that.
Really?
Okay. How weird.
Fair enough. I think I'll pass. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I'm not joking. These are some absolutely fantastic figures, and I'm just enjoying painting them. Something completely different. It's not military. It's not World War II. It's not historical. It's just great,
completely different, isn't it?
Just great fun. And I know I think Dom mentioned on the news a couple of weeks back they're doing a North Star are doing a plastic scavengers box as well. So as soon as that comes out, I'm getting that because they look brilliant.
I've seen the sprue. For that, it looked ace.
I saw that on Twitter today. And I was like, oh, I need to own this. But yeah, these are absolutely brilliant. They just
What
have
sort of
plastic
value you
kits.
get though? What sort of value is it, Steve, price wise?
So you get 20 in them, and they retail for ordinarily for about £20 a box, about £1 a miniature. Which is
And
really
they're
good.
multi-part plastic, yeah.
Multi-part plastics, yep. And you get
very
bases
nice.
with them as well. So,
Excellent.
but I've been using.
Oh, those bases are part of it, are they?
No, Necromunda bases I've been using.
I was going to say, yeah.
Necromunda ones. I want them to
I was
stand
going to
out.
say that'd be pretty decent to be fair. If you got them with it.
But yeah, that's what I'm going to say. When we start talking about what we're currently working on, there's another part of the project that I have currently involved in tonight, having a bit of fun with. So yeah, Space Weirdos all the way for me.
Excellent. And you this past week, Martin, what have you been?
Well, I've had 2 weeks, haven't I? Because I wasn't here.
Oh, you have. Yes.
Because I had strep. So no. I did listen to that podcast. I did listen to that podcast about a week later, but yeah, I did listen.
I have
to
no
it.
sympathy for you.
I didn't expect you to, but then I'm not the one who's sitting there in my own soup. So yeah, what have I been up to? I've done quite a lot, actually. To be fair, I mean, the problem was that I did like a whole
turned this into a Dom
editing, but I recorded all these videos, and then I was going to do voiceovers and do things like that.
Oh, you couldn't.
And then I got strep, so I couldn't do it. So I sat there with like all this content that I could edit and that I was working on, and so I can't do anything with it. So I just started doing other things. But then I sort of did that.
To paint some more, didn't you?
Thingy video, the Naval Brigade one, which I was working on with the sort of the history and stuff. But what model wise, the main thing that I finished was the latest command base for my first Crusade stuff.
Yeah, this kind of convinced me to do their Patreon.
All the pictures we've been putting up for the last year and a half.
Yeah, well, this one actually got me over the line. I really liked the guy on the horse with the cross. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's very cool. He's
stung to me. I don't know why, but the
actual model is St. Ramos. But for my purpose, I'll be using him as just either a generic Crusader commander, or I think I had him in mind as I can't even remember which one it was now. Raymond, that's it.
Raymond, yeah. The one that ran away.
He didn't run away.
No, he didn't.
What are you on about?
Am I on the right one? The one I played with Alec. It's Raymond. He was it the second Crusade or the first Crusade? I'm thinking of. It's one where he went to find some water. It's in the Lion Rampant rulebook.
Was it made up?
No. It's genuine. I can't remember now. If Alex
he didn't run very far because he became the king of Antioch. So
I think it's a different Raymond.
Oh, not Antioch. Sorry. Anyway, one different one. Anyway, whatever. I finished it, and that was a great deal of fun. So yeah, those are Reconquer Designs minis, but I've got so many of them kicking around now that it's quite easy to pick out, because the guy at the back who's sort of mounting the horse, that's from a completely different set, so it's quite easy to mix and match. Although obviously just picking out the ones that aren't quite as crusadery, if that makes sense, because they are out there. But I have found another use for those, which I'll come on to. But yeah, that was a great deal of fun to work on. But I did, because I had so many sort of people ask, I did actually film the whole thing, but that's going to take quite a long time to edit. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And then, so I don't know if anyone saw, but Modiphius had a sale on, because they were getting rid of some of their. So I know I messaged you guys, and I bought. I can't remember what I saved. I think it was something like 93 quid on the amount of stuff that I ordered.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so there were whole Conan source books for the Conan.
Oh, you got them? You actually bought all them, did you?
Of course I did. I was getting hardback source books for £2. Why would I not buy them? Big hardback rule books, which I love, because I've already got the main game, and that's just kind of like filled it out. But the post, after spending a whopping £8 and saving 93, and having like all these books, and the postage came to more than the books did. So I felt duty bound to buy something else. So I finally, which I've been looking at for a while, I bought Rangers of Shadow Deep, which is a sort of a big co-op or solo game that's by the guy who made Frostgrave and Stargrave. So it works on very, very similar lines, apart from it's co-op against the game. So you can play it solo, or you can play it in a group. We're planning on playing it, and but you sort of need a rough idea. You need a little collection of models, and I've already got quite a lot of fantasy stuff from my RPG sort of days. But you need to like generic enemies, and like all good video games, one of them generic enemies is giant rats, because you need to go and kill giant rats and farm them. So I did again. I went and found some free files and just printed them off, and I printed off a whole load of giant rats, and which are going to. I was really pleased with these. These are going to be great fun. I'm not sure what's going on with the one with 2 heads, but what the hell? It works.
You changed your giant rats.
Yeah, I scaled them up just a little bit because they weren't quite giant enough. I wanted it to actually sort of like look like a credible threat. So got a load of those. And
for free, isn't they?
Yeah, they are. And I've sorted out a whole bunch of other bits for it, and I'm really, really looking forward to playing it. So hopefully we're going to get a game in there. But because this is what I've got the Reconquer, because I've got all these spare Reconquer Designs minis, they'll be really good for villagers and NPCs like blacksmiths. There's the inn that'll do, because there's a scenario where there's a tavern, there's a scenario where there's like a tower, and obviously he's released all this stuff, so I've got it all already, so I might as well just make good use of it. And then I was sitting there last night thinking, I'll just paint up some rats. I'm painting some zombies at the minute, but I thought, I need something else to paint. And then I remembered the ramshackle church that Wound to me. So I genuinely, I built and painted this in 90 minutes. I was so chuffed with myself. And there it is. So I put
excellent.
So it is a lovely, lovely kit. And less just what is it? Probably about 15 bits in that. There's 15 pieces in there. Take note, Rubicon. And it's great fun. But I've left the roof and the tower removable, so we can get inside. But just for scale, there you are. There's some cowboys
nice.
hanging around. The gravestones don't come. I had those kicking around for various other games, so I thought I'd just add them in. But yeah, I was well pleased with that. But the first mission in Rangers of Shadow Deep, you're going into a village to kind of like investigate what's going on. So I thought this would look quite cool, being in a sort of fantasy. It's just so usable. You can use it in fantasy, western, whatever, really, can't you? It's very very versatile. On top of that, because of Steve, I've been reading up.
You bastard, Steve!
I'm going to be running Bushido games at CrackCon, which I know I've had a bunch of people message me about. So I've just been reading up on the rules, and I've decided to do a little custom board for it, because why not? Because why? It'll be quite fun. It's only on a 2x2, and then of course, there's been a load of other stuff going on with the models, and all things to do with them. So it's been busy. It's been really busy, but it's good. It's good fun. I'm glad to be better and be able to paint. But yeah, it's quite a lot. There you go.
Yeah, it's good you can talk now, which is rather handy, isn't it?
I don't know if Haley would agree with you, but yeah.
Oh, fair enough. So that brings it on to me. What have I been up to this week? So I have. Let's have a look. I've been going mad.
Get your drinks
ready. Get ready. Going mad with the 3D printers.
Oh god.
So I've started printing out a Necromunda table.
Oh, is that why you were going after the Necromunda rulebook?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
So I've designed a 4x4 table on virtual graph paper, how I want it to be, and I'm just printing it out at the moment. So that's the first room done. I think that comes to about £7 in PLA or whatever it's called, SLA. the plastic stuff. So yeah, I'm printing out at the moment. I've just printed out another big couple of sections, to be fair, which I haven't added onto that picture, which is just below. But that's been me. I started doing some painting and experimenting, as you can see on the left-hand side there. I'm not overly happy. I want it to be a bit more grim darky, so I'm going to probably spray over that with black and start it off again. But that's what I've been working on at the moment.
Just get the streaking grime and saturate it over all of that, and then just get some like isopropanol on the end of a cotton bud, and just wipe off the high bits, and then hit it with matte varnish, and then that'll look really grim dark. That's all. That'll look fine.
Yeah,
just saturate it with griminess.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's going to be the best thing to do, isn't it? Just wipe the excess off, really. You're right. I just it's black PLA, so I'm going to have to. It's all completely modular, this terrain, so you can take it all apart. Clicks in.
Okay.
So you can
what made you get a PLA print? I missed this last week. I assume it was
this. For terrain.
Oh, okay.
It seems more cost effective than doing it with resin, and quicker as well, because obviously you've only got a certain print bed. And I've managed to finally, and I've set it up now, the printer, and I've got my head around it, and with the auto leveling and leveling the printer, I'm getting perfect prints every time. I'm not getting any issues, so that's good. I'm really happy with that. I haven't had one failed print yet at all.
Can you keep your heads leveled, mate? Because you're coming in and out like a
bloody thing. Apologies, fucking Mike. Yeah. So the printer, it's going well actually. To be fair, like I say, I'm printing something at the minute, cooking while I'm printing it. I'm just leaving it basically. I just start it off and I just leave it, and it's done. And then I just start another one off and leave it, and then it's done. And it's not really any effort whatsoever, which I'm pretty happy about, to be fair. But I've also been, because I've got my first game of fantasy this week. On Thursday, I'm going down to Portsmouth, and I am having a game of fantasy with the store manager of the Games Workshop down there. You can have a game.
What, in GW?
No, not in GW. After work. After he's finished work. Everyone would think it's the old world if we played it in GW. Would be nice, but no, we're going to have a game after he's finished work. Just at a place opposite, to be fair. He's quite an avid fantasy player, and obviously I want to try and get into the old world, and I've never played fantasy. So I asked him nicely, I said, could you teach me how to play it, 8th edition? So I've got like a bearing and a start point when the new old world comes out, hopefully this year. So I'm quite looking forward to that, to be fair. So I've just been basing up some dwarfs and finished painting them as well. Because I had a dwarf army, and I've managed to paint a few more units. So probably next week you will see what I've managed to do in the last 2 weeks, because they are a work in progress.
I mean, the thing is, if the old world turns out to be shite, at least you can still play fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another reason I got this printer, is because the trays that I know what you're going to tell me, Martin. You don't have to change the base size in it. For the fantasy, they've upgraded to 25mm bases, haven't they? And I'm on 20mm bases. But it just makes it easier if I'm playing somebody else that's got 25mm. I've got the tray adapters. And to get them 3D printed was going to cost something like 90 quid for the amount I wanted. And that's at a fair price. That's not even Games Workshop prices when they bring out their stuff, because I'm sure they will.
Couldn't you just done like I'm not asking to be like
resin?
Contrary, no. Couldn't you just like got them on war bases because they do sabots?
Yeah.
To your specification, and you get quite a lot for your money.
No, because the adapter. What are you talking about? You're talking about the adapters, because I got the adapters on war bases. I didn't want him. I didn't want him in MDF. I wanted him in plastic.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason. I just wanted them in plastic. I didn't want them in MDF. I know it's sacrilegious, but I wanted a more tailored edge instead of a flat edge. I know it sounds really stupid and pinicky, but that's what I wanted.
Okay.
So I've done my own basically, and it's already made its money back in the saving that I've done. So I'm happy.
So with the old world coming back, is it literally Are they changing the law, or is it going to be a standalone game? Or
It's going to be a Forge World game.
It's set 200 years before the old.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So
for
setting
the
of
end
Warhammer
times.
Fantasy.
what you mean the one they spent years building up the history for?
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah. I'm
Just have to
really
wait and
got
see.
two minds about it. I don't know. It's
Just
weird.
have to wait and see, innit? So if it's a load of shit, then I can always play just normal fantasy or 9th edition. You know, the fan favorite one. I'd just like to have a game of them. To be fair, I've just never played it and want to really give it a go. So yeah, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
on
I think
Thursday.
I mean, like I say, I can't remember which edition of Fantasy. I think it was 6th was the last one I played, which I enjoyed. Whichever was the one that made it so what elf archers could hit first, even when charged by knights with lances. I started hating it around about then, because that made me really mad. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think the old words it is interesting. I think they've had so many people obviously say, "Oh, you're going to bring it back," and the success of the Total War games set in that period has obviously driven a lot of it. I don't know. I think it's weird.
It's going to be a wait and see, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it won't be one for me. I actually think what they did with Age of Sigmar was probably braver than going back and doing fantasy, because their Warhammer Fantasy set is very generic. It's very, here are the orcs, here are the humans, here are the elves. They're very traditional fantasy tropes. It's very easy.
Yeah.
Whereas at least what they did with Sigmar, even though I don't want to point it, well, it's different. Like you got like dwarves in the sky, you got elves under the water. Whatever. They're actually doing something a little bit different with that. You can't say they haven't tried to be original. Okay, some of it is off the wall, and I have no interest in it whatsoever. But it's it's a little bit.
Isn't that the point? I mean, I'm no expert on this clearly, but isn't that the point that if people like the traditional fantasy stuff, don't they? So if you don't make it different, then
it wasn't selling. But it can't, because it wasn't selling. That's why they nuked it. And there's been quite people just say it just wouldn't sell. People would go in there, they just wanted to play with Space Marines and that kind of stuff. It didn't sell. Whereas Age of Sigmar now, the things I don't play it, but my understanding to chatting to there is it sells.
So then why are they bringing the old world back then, if that's the case?
Again, because I think they've got because now they've got the nostalgia factor, I think, and they know that if they release it as like a specialist game, which is what I assume it will be, through Forge World, then they can probably make a bit of it. Plus, also, if they're selling the rule book, there's quite a lot of collections still out there. I've still got all mine. My collection for it. So if I did want to play, all I'd have to do is pick up the rulebook, I guess. So I can't see
what armies did you have?
I had the Dark Elves, Bretonians, which I got rid of, and
you still got Dark Elves though, yeah.
Wood Elves, I think I had. Yeah,
you'd be fine. Yeah, they're basically every army you can play in it. So yeah.
I can't remember what edition it was what was the one where the starter box was High Elves and Goblins?
That is
3rd or 4th.
No, 4th edition. 4th edition, yeah.
This would have been late 90s. We were playing it, and I used to run. I had an Empire army, painted in red and yellow. Oh God, what was I thinking?
Yeah, what the hell were you thinking? Red and yellow?
Two horrible colours to put together. Oh. And I mean, painting, it was quite big as well. I had loads and loads of units. And we played it for quite a while. We had quite a diverse mix of players. So I had Empire. My mate Andy had Bretonians. Pete had Lizard Men. Ian had Dark Elves. And then
I've always wanted vampire counts, Steve. Have you ever known anyone to collect vampire counts?
I had vampire counts for 4th, I think it was.
I think wait. I remember Pete going out and buying the entirety. Remember they released the Dogs of War faction.
Yeah.
And he went out and bought every box he could find of every unit. Never painted them because he was Mr. Tin Man. He never painted a miniature. But it was not
long.
not long after that. We, I mean, I really like the idea of Dogs of War, though, and all these mercenary units, that regardless of what race they were, or about, you know, getting together to be, you know, mercenaries, and it had a really good look. But I think after that, we didn't. I think that might have been when we stopped playing Fantasy Battle. It didn't get as much look in as 40k for us. It was more of like a curiosity thing, because we'd never really played it before, and we were. I've said before, 40k was turning us into sociopaths. So we so we
decided the good old days of Rogue Trader, Steve.
No, this was second ed. This was one where
we even worse. Yeah. Jesus Christ,
so we just said, let's try Fantasy Battle. You know, we'll club together. We'll get a couple of starter boxes. We'll get the rules. And it was around about the time the workshop were releasing those multi-part kits to Fantasy Battle. And I got the Empire one, and I had a few other bits and pieces knocking around. And I really enjoyed it. It was completely different from 40k, and I found we were less competitive while playing it. When we played 40k, we just lost our minds playing that. But when it came to Fantasy Battle, we were a whole lot more laid back about it, because I think it's
when
because
it came to lizards attacking humans, it was fine.
Exactly, we were fine with that. But it was nice. But I never really, apart from the one army, I didn't really invest much into it. I must have played less than 20 games of it.
I remember we played Fantasy a lot and we really enjoyed it, but as soon as the sort of like releases slowed down and half the models that are in the army books never actually sort of like, you know, appeared as releases, we started to, you know, sort of slack off of it and just played more 40k. And then, to be honest, that was when we started sort of leaning away and started looking at, you know, historicals a lot more, and you know, it was just a lot easier to get models and stuff for. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Something to keep an eye on anyway.
Yeah, Dom, you've even got a fantasy army. You know that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I have growth mark stuff.
Yeah, it's still. I was actually thinking about selling it the other day, and I thought, I don't know. We'll see.
Sacrilegious.
Well, if I'm never going to play it, nobody plays it in the club, so
sell it to me. I'll have it.
Yeah. Selling it to you. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. Sorry, better go on with the bloody. Actually, we come here for tonight, so it's work in progress. So I thought how we'd hit this would be we'll share some pictures of what everyone's working on, actual physical working on. Talk a little bit about what we're seeing a lot of at the moment in the hobby, like different with the certain games that everyone seems to be enjoying, what's hit at the moment, what's taken a little bit of a back burner, and just go through what is what it means to be work in progress. When do you count a model finished? When do you think to myself, you know, we're 20% through or 25%? What's the bit in the turning point of when you say to yourself, I'm on the downhill straight now, that sort of thing. So let's start this off. Okay. So Aaron, first of all, okay, so he's gone 15 mil. This looks like
nice.
There's a lot of tanks there. I'm not going to lie. Now we talk about Aaron's work in progress. So Aaron's decided to go along the route of building everything and then painting. Is this the same side of things that you guys hit? Do you build everything first, then paint, or do you build paint units at a time? So let's start with you then, Dom. I've got a funny feeling I'm going to know what you're going to say, but let's go for it. What's your aspect on that?
I would never build everything like that, I have to say. I mean, full admiration for doing that. I will build 2 or 3.
We're looking at another Benjamin, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would build generally with a project like that. I would build 1 or 2 units and have a production line. So some will be made, some will be primed, some will be on the painting table, probably a couple of units on the painter, and just work through that way. I mean, I do tend to, as you know, I tend to buy everything, at least initially, I need for the project in one lump sum. But I'm not sure I find that
Just sit there and build it all at once.
No, because I hate the
especially when
building. So the building bit is the bit I don't really like doing. So I'll tend to do that when I'm in a boring Zoom meeting at work or whatever, and I'll sit and make them then, because otherwise, just no. So no, full admiration, but that would kill me doing all that in one go. Just no chance.
What about you, Martin? Are you on those same sort of lines, or do you like to build everything first?
No, God no.
What?
No,
all right, then let's look at it this way, right? Say that's his whole project right there. Okay,
Yeah.
and let's not just start. Would you accept that as a mount to build first, or would you still not have built all that first?
But personally, I wouldn't build all it first, but that's because of the way I work. So I like to build up. I suppose we'll come on to this in social phase, but I like to build up things in small chunks and painting them so I can start having smaller games. And I like spending my time. So I'll build a unit, paint the unit, build a unit, paint the unit. A lot of the time I won't even buy like a whole army. I'll just buy, so like a couple of boxes or three, if it's Perry's, like 3 boxes of Perry's, and then once they're gone, I'll go, then I'll go back and get some more. I don't ever buy the complete army because I don't ever know when my projects are actually going to end. I don't have a sort of a set plan. Even the Wars of the Roses at the moment, which is on a little bit of a pause at the moment, that's not ended. It's just gonna, that's just gonna keep going. Yeah, exactly. I didn't build God. No, I didn't build all that at once. Jesus. But this is a great way to do it. But I just can't. I don't work that way. I don't think I'd find it less motivating. But I just, the way I paint is I sort of do. I assemble a unit, I paint a unit, finish it, and then I just go through it that way. So if it was like this, which I think they look awesome, I would then probably, if I'd have done this, I'd pick them out in platoons. I'd paint that platoon start to finish.
I did the same.
Then I do the next, if I'd done it this way. But to be honest, I think the reason is partly as well, when I'm building things, halfway through a project, I sometimes like doing things differently. And I wish I built something differently, or I suddenly think, oh, I could do this. And I don't want to have to go back and rebase things. Not that I have to, but I like adapting sort of as I go. So yeah, I think that's I think it's. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. I really do. Really cool army. But personally, I would probably build tanks in like okay, so like those Flames of War ones. I built 3 tanks at a time, and then painted 3 tanks. And then did 3 more.
Yeah, you did it basically a troop of tanks, didn't you?
I suppose the good way of that way, thinking about it, is once you've built them all, you can see the progression through the hobby, through your project, can't you?
And you can play with them.
As you see them coming off the paint table. Yeah, they're done. Yeah, you're right. You can play with them.
You can play with them as well, because sometimes I guess you might not have a lot of time to do the paint outside. And you might only be able to paint a little bit at a time, but you might want to actually be able to have a bit of time to actually have a game with them. So yeah, I can understand, definitely. What about you, Steve? You a build and paint sort of guy, or do you like to build your units up? If it was a box set, like it was the 40k second ed box set, would you build the whole thing at once?
No, I mean I never do. I mean, what I tend to do, especially with sort of O group or bolt action, is I sit down and plan the army, and then I've got to buy it. I've got to buy the whole thing. That way, I don't have to. I know what I've got in has to be painted, and that's it. I don't have to go out and buy any more units. I don't go buy another tank. Everything is bought and put under here.
Yours all based on points, though, isn't it? So you'll base it on, especially for bolt action, you'll base points, won't you? So you'll know what your 1,000 points are, and you've got your list, haven't you? And then you can just stick.
So I do that. I'll either do like 1,000, 1,250, sometimes 1,500. I'll write it down. I plan it out in Easy Army. And sometimes if I'm feeling particularly adventurous, I'll make an Excel spreadsheet.
Can I ask a question? Am I the only person that doesn't find Easy Army very easy?
Yeah. If you use it on a phone, it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
If you use it on the actual computer, it's all right. But the phone, I'd agree.
The browser version's quite. I mean, sometimes what I've found is sometimes that they're missing a couple of options that you have in the book. I don't know. It's just a thing that gets missed.
It's definitely just me then, because I usually end up raging.
It is frustrating. It says you cannot duplicate this force or something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the
no,
error
this one. So I've just completed that Deutsche Africa Corps project. Now in the Western Desert book, you can take a Matilda, a captured Matilda, but on the Easy Army, it doesn't give you the option. I just think it's a slight oversight.
Yeah, but now is it that because the meta now states you can't take a Matilda because it's been updated in a Q&A somewhere?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, no, because the Western Desert book's quite recent, and I can't see them nerfing that already. But no, with what I'd normally do is say I would, especially bolt action, I sit down and plan it out, so I know what I've got to paint, and then what I'll do. What I've been doing recently with my bolt action armies is I paint 2 infantry. Between 2 and 4 infantry, I paint 2 at a time. Once they're done, I'll treat myself to a tank, and then once the tank's done, I'll go back to the infantry, and then
not based, of course. No, based, of course. Sorry.
Absolutely based. And then another treat after that will be a weapons team or an artillery piece, and it just keeps it going. You can see it building up slowly, but it keeps me interested. Rather than just sitting. If someone said to me, "You've got to sit down and paint an entire squad or an entire infantry section," weirdly, 2-3 years ago, I could do it. These days, I'm a completely different painter. Yeah, and the thought of sitting down and painting 10 infantry in the same uniform, it would annihilate me. So I don't do it.
That's cool.
But with O Group, again, completely different. What I'll do is I'm working on the Soviet war at the moment, and so I sat down, planned out what I needed, bought all the stuff through Battlefront, and then I paint that. So I start off with a company and the HQ, which is 4 bases. It's not very many men. With the Soviets, you can fly through them. Then after that, I'll move on to like a platoon of tanks is 2 tanks. So I'll paint 2 tanks. Then I'll go back to infantry, and then I'll go do something else. And I did that with my Germans and my British for O Group. Again, it was just because it's very abstract. O Group, there's not really a massive amount to paint. I mean, the biggest investment is your companies, which is quite a lot of bases. But aside from that, it's just really nice treat stuff like tanks and artillery pieces and anti-tank guns. There's nothing really in O Group I'd ever dread.
I like how you definitely very much enjoy your special units, don't you? Like your tanks, your anti-tank guns, all that sort of stuff, compared to your infantry, don't you?
Yeah, they're treats.
Noticed. Yeah, they are treats.
They're
you find the infantry a slog then? You just find them.
I just don't like paint. I don't. I mean, if they've got an interesting uniform. So when I was painting the Deutsche Africa Corps, they were interesting because there's lots of colours. They were quite involved. It kept me interested. Whereas last year when I was working at 11th Armored Division 1, the infantry for that was just 2 colours, and it was painful.
You wouldn't like to paint Russians. You would not like to paint Russians.
No.
Okay.
So I try and choose projects. That's why I don't, when I do a bolt action project now, I don't just choose a generic platoon. I'll go into the campaign books and find an odd list that you don't really see. I mean, there's in the second D-Day book. There's a pack 40 anti-tank list. It's just pack 40s. I thought that'd be. I mean, apart from the actual pack 40 themselves, building the crew for I think you can take 3 or 4 of them, and that'd be so good. I mean, just something interesting rather than painting 30. I mean, the generic platoons you need between 30 and 40 infantry, and to me it's not fun. It's not entertaining. It's not. I can just about cope with 2 squads, but what you'll find in my last 3 bolt action projects, there's been one. I've painted 4 squads in the past 3 projects, and it just keeps me interested. I think it's because I'm not easily distracted, but I get bored very easily. So if I'm painting the same thing over and over and over again, the quality is going to dip, and I'm going to lose interest, and eventually it'll just get put in the shelf of abandoned projects.
You don't want that.
But no, I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't assemble, because I am quite limited for space around here. So if I was to assemble everything, I'd have nowhere to put them.
No. So that's cool. So for myself, All depends on what sort of project I'm doing, because you guys know me. Look at my Napoleonics. I assembled like 200 figures, didn't I? And then I painted them all in one giant batch paint. Depending especially if it's infantry, I prefer to assemble it all and then paint it all in one go. I know it sounds really weird. Especially when you say it out loud, 200 infantry all at once, all their boots. Oh.
I just couldn't do that. I could not. You could threaten me with a gun, and I wouldn't be able to do it because I'd switch off. I would literally switch off.
But it's interesting to see 4 different approaches, isn't it? So your 3 are quite similar, but they're still different. You'll all do them in an individual way, won't you? So mine's completely different because I'll batch paint everything, especially if I do something like this. So this next project is from Andy Shaw. So he's doing some aliens, which are fucking really cool. So to me, even though they're the same sort of figure, I would like to put an individual sort of twist on each one of them to make them unique. And each of those would be an interesting separate project to me. And I would definitely build them all at once, and I would paint them all probably at the same time. I do like similar things, but not the same. Does that make sense? Especially when I was doing technique wise. So if I was doing like gore dripping effects and stuff like that, I'd be tempted to do like the spitting venom on some of them, to stick out. Especially with the base, I'd go to town on the bases maybe a little bit as well.
Is it because they look like really, really interesting figures?
Yeah, they do, don't they?
They're not.
they're also for a board game, I think.
I know.
So the thing is, and also they operate sort of individually. If you're doing like a skirmish game, for example, so it's like Bushido. If you, Steve, what have you done? Have you assembled every model in that box, or are you doing them one at a time and then?
No, I've built them all. They've all been built. Yeah.
But then you paint each one individually, do one start to finish, and then do the next one. Whereas, like, if you're building sort of like units of troops, you might build the unit. Do you see what I mean? What I'm trying to get at is because that's that's the sort of the sum total, is it? Because those models are not a unit, are they? So you're just going to get them done, getting them onto the table, and you can do some nice individual stuff on all of them. Whereas if you're playing a war game, you would want you're going to have for like 20-30 times the amount, aren't you? If you're playing a big mass battle game.
I think if that was a skirmish game that I was playing, I would probably assemble them all together like that. And
definitely,
individually, maybe, or in small batches.
So depending on if it's a skirmish game or if it's same with your Cowboys, I guess.
Well, it's just what you need to do to play. Isn't it?
Exactly.
Like that. With the Cowboys, you only need, like, if it's a cowboy, you only need 4. So
that's like Space Weirdos. I build these per crew. So I build 4, and it takes a while because I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I'm assembling, I don't just want to stick parts together. I want to give them a backstory. Why are they carrying that flame?
You take an interest into it.
Whereas rather than just sticking 20, 30, 40 infantry together, because it's a skirmish game and it's very, very low figure count. I mean, really, really low figure count. You can really do that. And I certainly wouldn't do it if I was painting sort of bolt action.
Yeah. So like Andy here, he's gone similar. He's gone with 2 different sides. So, but again, I think this is to do with scale, maybe, like you guys were saying, what you need to actually play. So I don't know what the rule set is, but I gather it's something like Team Yankee or something like that. But looks like a whole complete army one side, and like maybe half an army the other side, and he's already done the infantry.
I think also because they're small scale, as in small scale figures.
15 mil, 6 mil.
You could do that in an evening, couldn't you?
Yes.
So making them all up as one go means you can just literally do the whole lot in maybe 2 evenings or whatever. A relative, depending on timescales, but pretty short order. So therefore, it makes more sense to do, in my book anyway, to do them all together, because you just know then you can just lash through them, get them done, and they'll be on the table.
Yeah. But if you're doing a Napoleonic 20 regiments, battalions, you know that it's gonna
It's going to take a few more.
Especially at 28 mil. Yeah, it's going to take a little while longer, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then again, I found it as a motivator for me because what done it for me was when Martin said paint them in sixes, it's four bases, and you're done. And I'm like, I didn't see it like that. And then to me, having 3 or 4 battalions at a time ready to go because I could paint them so quick in greatcoats was like nothing. But that's still nearly 60 figures.
Yeah.
And 28 mil, but it depends on the painting style, I guess, as well, and what you're willing to do. It's like, but he's done 4. He's got 4 guys on the go in a minute. But look at the detail on them; they're very nice.
They're amazing,
very, very nice, and you can see that he's taken the time to do some freehand there, some tattoos. Yeah. Looking incredible, really, aren't they?
Beautiful.
So you can see that he spent a lot of time on them. I don't know what game it's for again, but
is that Blood and Thunder or something like that?
It might be, yeah. It might be. I can't remember, to be fair. I do apologise, but if you're in the comments, let us know. But I really like what he's done with the bows. I like the colours of the bows. The contrast he's got with the white feathers as well and the red. But he's definitely taken his time with those and not rushed them, especially around the legs on that guy. The cut. If you look at the guy on the right hand side of his legs, what he's done with the lines there.
Yeah,
that's he's proper taking his time, isn't he?
Definitely.
But that's
I think so. I think for me, sometimes I think
Blood and Thunder.
Oh, it is brilliant.
I think sometimes as well, it's about establishing the best technique for the scale and the number of figures you've got to paint. You wouldn't sit down and decide, right, I'm getting to black powder. I'm going to do a massive Napoleonic army, but I'm going to paint every single figure individually. Wouldn't do that. Unless you had issues. I certainly wouldn't do that.
All the drummers.
Yeah, especially the drummers. But I mean, if I was to, I don't know, it probably never happened. If I was to do like 6mm Napoleonics, I think I'd be.
It'll probably never happen. You know what's going to happen.
That's not going to happen. I think I'd be able to get through that in quite a fair amount of them in a couple of evenings. I think it'd be quite easy, to be fair. I don't want to test this theory. I'm just saying.
If we get 100 likes, Steve.
Yeah, what do you think, viewers? I think if we get 100 likes.
Hey, I've tried that before. I tried painting 6mm French in about 2006, I think it was.
How painful was it?
I painted about 16 strips, and then I put them all in a bag and never saw them ever again.
Mm-hmm. Are they still in your flat somewhere?
No, I think I've binned them.
That's kind of what you talked about with the Epic, though, Steve, wasn't it? It's about finding a technique that is quick and satisfactory for the scale, because, like you say, those natives are amazing, but you wouldn't ever try and do them at Epic scale that because
what I found with Epic,
hold it.
The first time I started painting Epic, 2 years ago when it came out, I thought these will be dead easy to paint. They're only whatever scale they are, and then I completely underestimated how difficult it was, and then I started painting. I tried to paint like 4 bases, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 stands at the same time, and it was horrible. It really, really, really killed it for me. So this year when I went back, I now paint in batches of 2, and that's, for me, it's the sweet spot. You get a good quality, but you can paint them quite fast as well. And I've taken a bit of a break from them while I do other things, but I was flying through the ACW units earlier this year. And again, it was just a slight change of technique, a total change of mindset as well, because they're an odd scale. I find, because I've painted 10mm and I've painted 15mm, and these sit right in the middle. And for me, it's a completely different approach to painting them. I don't know what it is. It's just weird. Maybe it's just me. But they're not easy and they're not hard. It's difficult to explain.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, sorry.
Benjamin. No, when that won't be happening, Benjamin. I'm pretty sure that won't be happening ever again.
Speaking of Benjamin,
Yeah, but Benjamin is the batch painting king, though.
Benjamin's a sociopath. All right.
so these are 15 mil Indians that he's painting at the moment. I swear to God, the man doesn't paint less than 30, 40 figures at a time.
Do these have, what were those shields this time? No hand painted shields? No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So then you've got the opposite scale. Like you've got Benjamin. He batch paints everything, but I still think that his figures come out looking really decent. I don't know how he does it.
I don't think. I mean, so I think there's a fundamental thing that you just did there. I think with batch painting, just because it's batch painting doesn't mean you can't do them in quality.
No, exactly.
I think there's a perception in the hobby. I think
batch painting is bad.
Yeah, that's a quick way, to flash through figures, and the quality isn't particularly great and what have you. Now that can be certainly. That's if a lot of people do it that way. I kind of do it that way. But you see an awful lot of people who batch paint, and they do some amazing work. So I don't think necessarily means,
I think people that do that batch painting, who can paint a lot at the same time but maintain that quality. I think it's a psychological thing. I think you would have to be in a certain. I mean, I don't have it. I couldn't do it. But is there certain tips and tricks to maintaining that quality over such a large amount? When I was talking to Sean at CrackCon, and we were talking about batch painting, and I said, "Oh God, my limit's about 5," and he said, "Well, my minimum's 45." I was like, I can't begin to conceive sitting down and painting 45 28 mil figures at the same time. It would kill me. It really would.
I think also part of it is your setup. So if you've got the space to leave them up in various progressions, it's a lot easier in some ways. You know what I mean? I mean, Sean does it as he's a commissioned painter, so he's got space, he's got it all set up. That's what he does. It looks like Benjamin's got a big bit of space to lay out his figures, and I wonder whether that has something to do with it. I don't know. Just intrigues me because you're right. Keeping that quality consistent over a lot of units is quite tough to do.
That's always been my biggest challenge. When I used to paint bolt action squads in one go, sort of 10 at a time, I start off quite well, and then sort of the last 3, 4, the last 3 were absolute chod because I wasn't able to keep up the quality.
Yeah.
The only thing I find, which I like about batch painting in that sense, is that if I do a number of units in quick succession, and then I come back to that army in another 6 weeks, I'll have forgotten how I did them, but at least if I batched them, then I'll know they're consistent. I'll even forget the bloody basing I've done. So it's kind of, so if I do 5 units in a row, I'll know that those 5 units are going to be fairly consistent. My painting technique and basing and everything else. Whereas if I come back to it again, I can't remember.
That's fair enough. It's a good way to do it. And then you've got what I'm learning, what I'm pretty much picking up throughout this whole process of looking at all these work in progress. You got someone like Joey. He's got two of those tanks at 15 mil on the go at once. Instead of we were looking at Aaron's, he had his whole box, didn't he? So everyone's got a different approach. And there's no what I'm trying to say is there's no right or wrong way, is there? How you
Absolutely
approach it.
not.
It's an individual circumstance, and what I've found as well is it might change for individuals. And it's like even when you're doing one project, you might decide, I'm gonna batch paint all these, and the next project you might decide, well, actually, I'm not gonna batch paint these. I'm gonna do these individual, and I'm really gonna take my time on them, and I'm gonna make each one a character figure. And it depends on the project, doesn't it? So you got Jonathan at the moment. He's doing a unit at a time by the looks of it.
Oh, very
nice.
nice.
Napoleonics. Yeah, they are nice. Yeah, I thought that as well. Just needs the base and done. And then done. It's quite a satisfying step, isn't it? You've got Don at the moment. He's doing some commandos.
Cool.
But he's also, if you look in the background, he's also got some other projects like you, Dom, on the go.
Yep.
So he's got Napoleonics on the go as well, just as well as his British. So some people might decide. So that's the thing for me. I like to focus on one thing at a time, but I'll always have other things that I've half started and not finished. I don't know about you.
No,
It's crazy, isn't it?
mate.
You'd never think that, would you?
No.
So what about yourselves? Do you like to half start things and then give up, like not give up, but then just get a bit bored of them and move on to the next big thing? Or
I don't really give up. I just do things I just vary between them. I've got.
Would you say there's any things that you've completely given up on?
No.
Recently?
I gave up on recently. No.
Yeah, like last year or two.
No. Nothing that I didn't get. Nothing I get. I didn't. I stopped the Carthaginian thing, but I completed all the Carthaginians that I had. I painted them all. I just didn't buy any more. I didn't anymore. I didn't, and then I didn't get the Romans. I've got. Well, look, because you told me to take a photo, so I spent bloody ages getting these out of the box. I'm putting this pissing photo up. So I only did it with one. So I've got the Crusade. At the moment, I've got the Crusader project. I've got the Anglo-Zulu War project. I've got my Malden small scale project, the Wars of the Roses, which is just an ongoing thing that'll never ever end. And I've got. There was something else, and I can't remember what it is, but they're all things that I sort of paint at the same time. So I got the Crusaders out to show you, but a bit like a lot of it, I paint two armies. So I've got my Crusader project, but that's two armies. My Zulu War, that's two armies. So I'm painting four armies at the same time at the moment. Yeah, that are all mass battles. So to give you an idea, that's my sort of Arab forces so far for the Crusade,
nice.
Which might not look as much, but then when you sort of add on to the fact that I've done all the Crusaders in Crusaders as well,
it's a lot.
I'd rather because they're two perfectly playable armies for Hail Caesar, or for any other game. That's sort of where I am at the minute. I look at this and I'm like, right, I need more bases of horses, because of course a lot of these I'm especially with the horsemen, I'm just kind of painting by bases rather than by units, if that makes sense, because I'll just fit them into units later. I don't really care anymore about how many flags or commanders or whatever look their own unit. And that's partly the way my painting's changed, is I want this army to look more like a bunch of dioramas altogether. Because to me, it's just more, I'm just having a great deal of fun with it. Whereas like with the Crusaders, I've done the same. So you've got like that Byzantine unit in there, which was a good, the big red, like the red shield block in near the back. I've got those, but those are two playable armies against each other. If you're playing Hail Caesar, there's three small, medium-sized divisions of both. But it's just a great fun. Now, if you think I've done that, and I've got the Zulus on the go as well, where I've done, a division of
You're
Zulus.
dipping in out of them all the time, don't you?
Well, I just tend to paint. I'll do a Crusader unit, then I'll do a Zulu unit, then I'll do a Crusader unit, then I'll do a War. I just keep the projects rotating, because I've got enough that I can game with them. So like I said, I don't really have I think it will get to an end point where I'm like, okay, I've probably got too much now to put on the table. That's probably how it'll work. I haven't got, because I don't play with points or lists, and I'm not seeking to emulate a battle. Bicker said to 6mm samurai. I didn't give up on it. I painted them all.
You did.
I painted them all. And
I
hated every second of it.
Because I was stupid. I gave up on them.
After my pain. My pain. But a lot of the time I won't. I'll paint both sides. That's something that changed with my projects, was the desire to paint two armies, paint both sides. Because I at the time when I was in Cambridge, I wasn't gaming in a club. So if I wanted to have games, I needed to paint. I wanted to have both sides. I found it a bit easier. The War of the Roses just developed because I painted so many that I can have two games, because they're all the same. But when you're fighting two very different armies, so like the Zulu War, I don't want to rely on somebody else having painting those up, so I do it at the same time. So I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mass battle armies on the go at the minute, all of which I add a unit to probably, I don't know, every month, every couple of months, something like that. But I'm playing games with them as well at the same time. That's important to me. I want to be able to play games. I hate not being able to. I hate just having these miniatures and not being able to do anything with them.
Yeah.
And so I think if I wanted to do a big mass battle game and I bought them all personally, it would drive me nuts thinking I've still got to paint X amount and base them all before I can actually have a game, because I I play very regularly.
Yeah. So you also on the account of you prefer play. You obviously prefer playing chess.
I can't hear you because you've walked away from the microphone.
Sorry, I said you prefer playing with painted miniatures. Mine.
Yes. Unless it's a board game, which I don't seem to care about so much. I think I don't know. I think it's just got to the point in my wargaming where I like having big, pretty tables with lots of miniatures on them. If someone came around mine with unpainted miniatures, that wouldn't bother me much. Depends who it was.
Liar. Oh, sorry.
Especially if it was Miller.
Miller, I just wouldn't let him put them on the table if it was Miller.
You've gone away again.
Stop moving.
Stop moving your bloody head around. Jeez.
This mic's shit.
It's all right when the mic is fine when you're speaking into it.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Yes, right. Okay, let's go. Right, so there's 2 Johns. So they've been working on one John again, smaller scale. At least I think it is. Yeah, it's 15, and that's 15. They're pennies. So 15 again. Got a bit of a German side, got a British side on the go. Happy days. Like we were discussing earlier. 2 sides for you, Martin. Again, play both sides.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? And then you've got the other John. He looks like he's just finished one side of 15mm paratroops. Looks like he painted his whole force in one go. But like you say, again, it's a small enough force to be able to manage that in one go, isn't it? And not feel too overwhelmed by it. And then you get someone like Kevin. Everyone should have a friend like Kevin, because Kevin is great. Kevin.
Yeah, that looks awesome. That does look cool.
Kevin has gone to town. Kevin has done his research.
Why is everyone bringing that up? The bloody bags. Yes.
Oh, don't.
The horror.
I almost had some kind of attack when the first time he told me about that. I just thought the absolute total rank insanity of it, that he thought that was acceptable. No, I don't even want to think about it anymore. I really don't.
What do you measure from with bags? So yeah, Kevin, this just shows you what 3D printing can do. Take a drink.
Oh God, I'm on water now.
So this is resin, and it looks incredible. So you could be playing some Bushido with this, could you not? Could you be playing some? What else could you be playing with this? What's that other samurai? Test of Honor, yeah. Imagine Test of Honor in this.
It wouldn't be that out of place for boxers either.
No. So you get would you be able to scale it like that, Dom? Do internal combat for it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It depends on the rule set, doesn't it? If you use the skirmish set, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I think when it comes to these sort of things, like I'm doing at the moment, you can see he hasn't started painting it yet, because I think he wants to get it all nailed down for printing. And it's understandable, because the last thing you want to do is find out you can't print one bit of it and you've painted the rest of it and cry because the printer don't want to play ball with you. But I think he's there. I think everyone should have a friend like Kevin. Good old Kevin. Not biased in the slightest towards that. What the hell is going on with this? Go away, Microsoft. Oh, what are you doing?
We're asking ourselves that right now.
Right this minute.
Sorry. So Lee took it back. A bit of nostalgia here. You were talking about them earlier. Was the elves, the high elves from the 4th edition box.
Classic high elves.
So again, it looks like he's just got the one side of the box set ready to go. He's got looks like there's some new miniatures in the background, new ones that they do. GW, but there's some contrast paints there. We haven't even spoke about contrast paints, have we? So speed painting for contrast. Martin, I know you like using contrast as your base layers, don't you? And then highlighting up on it, don't you? Getting a shade in for certain techniques. Is there certain minis that you wouldn't do that with?
I'm not doing it right now I didn't do it for those rats. I'm not doing it for these zombies.
Any reason for that? It's just the aesthetic you want for it, or?
Yeah, pretty much. What I'm doing with these is what I guess people are going to call grim, grim dark, whatever you're going to call it. These are getting heavy shading on. I mean, I'm using contrast paints for base layers, but I'm not highlighting on top of the contrast paints. I'm going to be hitting it with weathering and shades because I see my models. I've noticed a lot with the models I'm doing recently. If you look, I seem to paint quite like a desaturated look. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know quite how that's developed. It just has over the last couple of years, and I normally do that because I build up quite a lot of different layers, and and I highlight things quite a lot. So I'm not doing that with these. I just want to get these done fairly rapidly. I mean, I've just painted 10 zombies tonight of varying quality, and I'm going to slather them in washes and all sorts of grime and dirt in a minute because that's the kind of look I'm going for. But when I've got things that I want to stand out, I'll spend a lot longer on them. But contrast does give you a nice base for working up from. Although I've just found my flesh tearers red, and for some reason it's solidified, and I've only had it a week.
Bloody hell!
That's not good at all.
Yeah, I've got 2 ball bearings in there as well. They're not doing anything.
That's even more annoying. So yes, it's just a quick look. Sorry, just having a quick look through the comments. Apologies, I'm very much out of practice at the moment.
Well, maybe we should do the news, and then
do the news.
Look at the comments afterwards.
Go for it. Go for it.
A good thing. We need to find your thing. Where's the thing?
Oh God, no!
There it is. There it is. I got
sinister music.
Part of the show where Dom and Martin mainly tell us all about the stuff that's going on at the moment. Dom, have you got any news, or is it all down to Martin this week?
No, I did have a few bits. I'm getting ahead of Martin on the Reconquer stuff.
I don't bother putting it on there anymore.
There you go.
Because they're very cool. See, this is what I mean. They're useful in so many things.
It's just these are amazing. This is they're supposed to be Portuguese, aren't they? Portuguese medievals.
Yeah, it's Alfonso. So King Alfonso snuck into a Berber-held fortress, and then they killed them. Obviously, killed all the guards. Now, apparently, he did it with 25 knights, but Macross said he doesn't want to do 25, so he's just doing a few, and he just sees them as almost like a little special forces unit to add something to. I'll be using these because Bohemond snuck into Antioch. Up the tower, so I'm going to use it for those. But I'll have those. I'll have a unit of those on there. I'll come up with some rules for them, some advanced deployment.
Just amazing,
that is
extraordinary models. So yeah, they're July release, I believe.
Yeah, they are
alongside these.
Yeah, so this was another reason it got me to.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah,
I mean, very amazing stuff. So there you go. That's Reconquer July stuff I saw. Also, Warlords seem to be pushing ahead with a whole load of Dutch Belgian troops. So there's another unit of Belgian infantry. This time they're firing line. Again, is on pre-order at the moment. So
nice to see some firing line, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite nice. They do look quite nice.
Instead of marching post, especially to be fair, especially
yeah.
They're Warlord resin again, so that's obviously the way they're going with all their stuff now. And then they've also got the Belgian Carabiniers from the Waterloo campaign.
Oh, they're cool.
They do look nice.
Resin, isn't it? Is this their new resin? Yeah,
it's the Warlord resin.
Yeah, the bum stuff, isn't it? The stuff that they were showing off.
Yeah.
So it's not the original stuff they were using.
Nope. I know someone got very excited about they were like Airfix figures, but they're not. They're actually reasonably strong, I think. Pretty good resin, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. Still should be better metal, but there you go. And they also did some commanders.
Oh, look at a Prince of Orange. That's nice.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I thought he was a bit. I don't
I
like him actually.
Do you know? I like the kind of podgy horse.
I mean,
He's giving me a Wallace and Gromit. He's giving me a Wallace and Gromit vibe.
It's what,
With his
exactly.
face.
I like the horse because it looks like a big cart horse, and I'd sort of imagine that would be how. But look at his head. It's
Yeah,
tiny.
his head. It's giving me a very Wallace and Gromit vibe with the way he's got his mouth open as well.
Oh well. So there you go. So that's that. They've also launched. If you're into, I don't know whether many people are doing this, but the
Blood Red Skies,
Blood Red Skies. There's a whole range of Italian fighters and bombers for that, plus aces coming out. So if you're into your Blood Red Skies, that's going to be and it's all about Italy because they're also launching the new campaign book.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Which I will get because I like.
Is that a bear?
It is a bear.
Yeah.
I'm holding an ammo case.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So interesting stuff coming out of our friends at Warlords as well at the moment.
That is cool. That is very cool. I'm very interested in those Dutch Belgians. That might be something because I haven't picked up any black powder for a while, so I might need to expand my.
A long time since I've seen you paint
Dutch,
some
maybe do a brigade Dutch Belgiums to add to it. The last thing I did was those Marmaluks, which
that was ages ago.
Yeah, that was. I got those at the November salute thing.
Warfare. Was it
year and a half?
You got it? Yeah.
No. It was.
Oh, it was. It was salute. Yeah,
was
when
salute,
we
wasn't
went.
it?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Still got some French battalions left to paint.
No, I've painted every single one of them. Oh, no, that's a lie. I've got a whole bunch of medals actually to paint somewhere. But they're all characters and command basey stuff.
So you've done all your battalions then? They're done.
Yeah. I haven't got any more in them today. There's another campaign book for Bolt Action that that's been talked about in the last few days, which is Campaign Case Blue, which is I think that's obviously looking at the east. They just announced that one as well. So they've got quite a bit.
That's quite cool because that's just a scenario just in the Russian book, isn't it? Case Blue. That's just what it was. Yeah, you've just got one scenario, but now if they're expanding it into a whole campaign, that's pretty cool.
Now you'll have to forgive me. I don't know if you guys talked about any of this a fortnight ago. So if you did, and we've put up again, I'm sorry, but it can just be considered a friendly reminder to anyone who didn't see it. Diluvian have got some early Highland Bowmen. If you saw these.
Yeah, I did. I forgot to put them up. They're really, really good.
Really nice. So I take it then you'll be getting some of these then as well, Dom.
Well, I think I thought maybe my Bruce's project was finished, but clearly it's not. There you go.
It's never going to be finished, Dom. It's never going to be finished.
No, there's no such thing as anything
finished.
No.
Vitrix posted up sort of a preview of their Peninsula Dragoons. Which I thought looked pretty cool. So just another one of those. So obviously they're coming.
Their sales still on, or is it finished now?
Finished yesterday, I think.
I'm glad I didn't look at that. But then
off.
Yeah, but I've really, like I said before, I think pretty much the whole of my British Army is Vitrix. I haven't got I think I've got one line battalion that's Warlord. The rest of it is all Vitrix.
Christ, you don't want to paint. You don't want to paint. Build any more of them, do you?
No, I don't. I don't know why I ended up with so many. I think I must have just got lots as presents. I can't work it out. I saw that the Perrys had previewed. Did you guys show these off? This was the Prussian 6-pounder crew for the Franco-Prussian War. But what I quite liked about it was it came with the choice of an open or closed breach for loading.
Oh, nice!
That's rather neat, actually.
Which will then give you a very nice piece for like a little objective, or if you can get some cart wagons and cartwheels, and then you can have like a blown apart one on the floor. Then of course you got the French 12-pounder with them loading it as well.
That's a big gun. Nice gun.
We like big guns. We like big guns. Talking about fantasy, but fantasy games that are actually out and not living off nostalgia. Here is the Mantic have got a new starter set out. Ice and Shadow 2-player starter set for Kings of War.
Nice.
to get you going in it. I think it's basically a little bit expanded on one of the older ones. that they've got, and I can't tell you what the price is, but
It'll be reasonable.
I hope people enjoy it. It is reasonable, but you will want more units than that. Definitely. But yeah, there's a nice little starter set. They seem to sort of like update their starter sets every sort of 18 months, 24 months, something like that. So I don't know if it comes with that scenery down the bottom or not. I have to see. And then Ken, I got these for you. So you remember Conquest, which is still a game that I intend to do. There were these things got released, which are kind of like Old Dominion Buka Kalofoi. Basically, they're Minotaurs.
Yeah, Minotaurs,
But bear in mind that that a normal model in this is what, 38 mil?
38,
mil?
yeah.
38, 40 mil. So those are massive. And then this got previewed. You ready for this one?
Go on.
Who doesn't want that?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Look at the size of the little raptors at the bottom. Fuck.
But I think that orc on the back of it's like a 50 mil model.
How big's that?
Gee,
I don't know.
That puts Smug to shame.
But all I know is that like anyone wants to know what happened to Littlefoot from Land Before Time, then this is...
He grew a beard and got pissed off.
He got mad. I mean that is
holy.
That is
smokes.
I wouldn't even know where to start on.
I
imagine it's going to be over 100 quid. I mean, it is.
Yeah, but look at all what you get for that price.
I mean, you could use that as a doorstop. It's massive. You need to put it on the roof rack.
Oh shit, that's cool.
So yeah, I thought you might like that, Ken.
That's definitely an airbrush job.
That's a send it to someone else and ask them to paint it job.
Yeah,
I know in my head what I would like to do, but I know that it wouldn't work. So I mean, look, the stuff on the. I mean, I assume those models at the bottom come on the base. Do you get those raptor things with it?
They wouldn't advertise it if not, would they?
Don't know, but anyway, yeah, that's the news.
Not included.
Is it raptors not? That's the news. Apart from, of course, Crackcorn organisation is still going well. We've got all the tables. I mean, are essentially gone. The
I nearly did a Miller.
A bit bigger. You needed a Miller, or what? And ordered extra.
An extra room. Yeah, I generally forgot that I booked a room and went to go and do it again. It was only because I was on PayPal that I realised that actually, what's the receipt for Travelodge? So yeah, I nearly did a Miller. That would have been interesting.
Yeah. No, but no, it's there's quite a lot out there at the moment. There's a lot.
Considering it's the summer, I'm surprised how much there is coming through.
There's a lot of minis coming out.
Did you see? Dom, you shared it earlier. I meant to get a picture. Annie from Bad Squiddos has teamed up with an artist to do backdrops for minis, hasn't she? There's a book of backdrops.
I was going to show that. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, that looks interesting, doesn't it? It's a nice. I mean, she did a little video of it, showing some of the pictures. They're a little bit fantasy for my liking, but actually,
there's a lot of mountains. There is a lot of mountains.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. It depends on how much it goes for.
Well, maybe if it's Kickstarter, they'll add more pages. The stretch goals. Maybe the stretch goals will be because it's 20. I think it's 24 pages.
It is. I did see that there was a comment on her original post about it that somebody said, "Oh, can you? It's a shame there isn't things like sci-fi backgrounds, like in spaceships and things like that." And the guy said, the creator guy did respond saying, "Let's just get this one done first, and then we can look at others." So I suspect it's this and done for the moment. But I don't know. Maybe
it's still interesting. But then, that's pretty cool. So
I think it's really interesting. Check that out. I did put the link in the Facebook page, which if you're not a member of, please remember to click on the link down below and join the Facebook page. But yeah, it goes to Kickstarter tomorrow, so we'll know a bit more like price, I guess, tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. So back on to said subject. There's been lots of comments going on. What's that?
So Rosa's coming for me.
What the fuck's going on?
Oh, what you do? You disappeared again.
No, my air tank's going off. Sorry about
What?
that. The tank for the airbrush, it must have a really slow leak. It goes off every 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Ooh, so old school FRP saying he assembles dozens of multi-part plastics. Oh, they are coming for you, Dom, aren't they?
Yeah, second lot.
So
I'm
assembles
trouble me
dozens
when I've
before
had
even touching a paintbrush. So he's definitely in the camp of assemble before painting. And they're multi-parts as well. That's even more bloody painful.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah. It's not even just getting a metal figure out and gluing it to a base, Dom.
I know some
Question.
people absolutely despise multi-part plastic kits. They really do.
You wouldn't live without a multi-part plastic kit, would you? And Dom's nodding his head surely hard.
No.
Oh God, I could manage without them. I can tell you.
I sit in this kind of happy place in the middle where I appreciate them, but I could also just do sometimes, like, for God's sake, it's a zombie. Just
Yeah.
Especially skeletons.
What would you, Dom? Would you ever consider batch painting a whole bunch of Rubicon models? Would you, Steve? Would you stick free? Would you do 3 Hueys before painting them?
No.
I mean, if somebody made it for me, I'd batch paint them. There's no way I'm going to do it before, though. No. Don't be stupid.
Robin was just commenting earlier about the tattoos, and Red Steph about the skin tones on those Native Americans. Very, very cool. Very, very cool indeed. I was, to be fair, I was actually really impressed by the tattoos. Not going to lie, they did look rather good. So Shakos and Sprues is saying for big games, he likes to batch paint, preferably in batches of blocks of 96.
Good man.
Jesus.
God alive. There's some weird, strange people out there. There really is.
96?
That's a big battalion.
That's freaking huge. Fair play, though.
I hope he's being sarcastic, and he's.
Yeah, I hope he's being sarcastic. I did
he's-
see the wink at the end of his comment.
Yeah.
But God, I hope so.
Well, speaking of multi-part plastic kits, I have actually decided my next today. I've not ordered it yet, but I was having a chat with my mate this morning. I've decided what I'm going to do next. Cast your mind back years ago. I've got an early war French army.
Yes, you have.
Action. I'm going to replace all the infantry with the War Games Atlantic French.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm going to keep all the support teams. I'm going to keep the tanks and the armored cars and the artillery pieces.
You're going to go.
But the infantry, those sculpts are showing their age. They are older than Jesus. Let's be honest. They're really, really old. I don't like them. And I don't play with the army because it's metal, and it's no matter how much I try and improve on it, it always looks crap. So I've just thought,
Fair enough.
I'm not gonna even try and improve anymore. I'm just gonna one box of that War Games Atlantic French. That box it's so good. That box, you can do First World War and Second World War French in one box, and you can do the tirailleurs as well.
Oh,
There's
nice.
options for that.
I know somebody who's got 2 boxes of resistance going.
I need to start my resistance. Actually, I mean, I've
There we go.
Resistance is futile.
And as I mentioned before, I've actually started a new project tonight.
Ooh.
And this is it. It's linked to Space Weirdos. I went a bit mad last week, and I bought that.
Oh yes.
Fuck me! I saw this come up, and I was like, I'm in the middle of printing that. I'm thinking in my head. I thought, yes.
So I've, for as long as these have been out, I've wanted to build them, but I've never had a reason to do it. I don't play Necromunda. it's not something you could cover a 6x4 board in unless you want to eBay your kidneys or something. So because I'm going to be playing on 2x2 and 3x3, and I've watched quite a lot of videos. I've been binge watching Magrathea. He's done a lot of Necromunda boards, and he's done a lot of stuff with the Zone Mortalis, which is the ones that I've bought and working on. And I'm determined to, and I'm going to be bringing these to CrackCon as well. So because I'm running Space Weirdos, it's going to be a multi-level 2x2 board for Space Weirdos. Because I know people know I don't like making terrain. I just don't like it. But this is different because what I'm doing is I'm doing bits, just modular bits. Yeah, and then I'm going to attach them all with walkways and ladders, and you won't need much to fill a 2x2 board with a bit of scatter in there as well. And it's going to enable me to have lots of different setups for it. So yeah, I took the plunge last week. I've been wanting to do this for ages. I watched loads of videos about it, and they are so nice. The kits are lovely. They go together well. They're so detailed. There's loads of little intricate parts on there. Yes.
That's really good.
Wow.
So that's where I'm up to. And yes, Rich, it was quite an investment. It's a considered purchase, as they like to say, because
yes,
it's something I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted a good sci-fi small skirmish setup. And I know years ago part of the old charm of Necromunda was making your own scenery, saving every toilet roll holder and Pringles can of Coke and straws. I'm just too old these days with zero patience, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to just be using plastic instead.
That's cool, man.
So yeah, this is what I'm going to be working on for the next few weeks anyway.
Oh, that's sweet, dude. That's really sweet to see that. That's cool. It's good to see you've got some mojo with that Necromunda terrain, definitely. So, friends of General Haig saying he's currently between projects, but he can only do one at a time. To be fair, I find that quite a rare breed, to be honest, in the hobby. One at a time. It's normally definitely, I could say all of us definitely. All four of us always have more than one thing going, don't we?
I tend to have one main one, and then I'll have something.
Then you've got sides.
Yeah, I can like with O Group, the Soviet O Group and stuff I'm doing. I'm just dipping into it every now and again because it's the most boring thing I've probably ever painted because the tanks are just green, the uniforms are just khaki. There's nothing challenging.
It's like the easiest thing to paint ever in the world.
It is. I mean, finished.
If you don't like painting, Soviets are just the thing to paint. That's what you just do. You just want an army painted.
I finished two of these T-70s last week. They must have took me about an hour to paint two of them. It's just ridiculous. And just no challenge.
Time, isn't it?
Yeah, no challenge. Just awful. But I've got to do them.
Yeah. Well,
I've said it before. I like the fact that variety of projects. If I've got a couple of projects, if I get a bit bored with it, I move on to I swap over to the other one for a bit, and it just keeps the mojo going for me.
Yeah.
Personally. But I know not everyone's the same, and I know Andy's very focused on particular periods. So it's probably hard to swap around.
So, do you think games like Black Powder, Pike and Shot, 28 mil, because I've always thought they were because there's more figures, a bigger investment in your time than like a bolt action army. I mean.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
I
just unless you're dominant that time you painted all those Estonians over a weekend. So.
That was insane.
But they're easy. They're just. I think the color. The thing with that, I think definitely the Black Powder or a Pike and Shot army does take. That is quite an investment in time. So yeah, but I find going back to do Second World War figures. Just a nice ease back in because
they
were pretty standard colours, aren't they?
Yeah, I'll tell you another one that takes a bit of investing time is some of the Middle Earth stuff. Some of the elves, I think they take a little bit of time if you want to do a bit of highly detailed metal work and stuff like that, because they're quite sizable armies. Coming from that side of things. Depends on, like you say, it depends how many details you've got in the mini, isn't it? Especially for like Soviets, like you said, they're like nothing, 3 or 4 years per one of my projects. Wow, that's insane.
Blimey, that's some fun.
I'd love to do like a time and motion thing between Andy and Dom.
Yeah, that would be interesting. 100%.
I have to say, apart from that, I'm slightly scared by it, but I am seriously thinking about doing a sort of how quickly it will take me to paint these.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting.
What do you reckon? I mean, I am slightly intimidated.
I reckon a month you could do them.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon you'd do it in a month.
I mean, it's 1,300 figures apparently in there.
It's a lot.
I mean, they're only diddly though, aren't they? I don't know. Just once I just need to do a couple of practice runs because, like Steve said, I think I've got to get into the swing of painting to that scale and how I want it to be done. Because I did start to do the Warlord sent me a free one early on, and I started to paint it, and I realised I was trying to paint it like the 28 mils, and I wasn't enjoying it. So I need to go back and have another go at it. But I thought, that might be fun. How long would it take me to do that? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've painted one strip, and that was more of a testing because it's not something that's on my immediate things to do. So I did a test strip of just basic Imperial infantry, and to be fair, I really enjoyed it. It was a bit more involved. No, I would say a bit more involved in the ACW. The Union ones are dead easy to paint. The Confederacy a bit more, but I think with these, you've pretty much got free reign because we're doing 30 Years War.
Very much, so.
Complete free reign.
Yeah, I think for me as well. I think what I've done. What's the word I'm looking for? Sorry. I think what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to block paint and then just put one wash and then be done. Like you say, Dom, I think I got carried away when I did smaller scale at painting them like with the 28s. I think there is definitely a different painting approach towards them, and that you've got to have. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. I've got to get that straight. I mean, the fact I had a break from doing any painting for a week might be a good time to address it because I won't be fixated on doing exactly what I've been doing.
You might smash it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Tom, did you paint any of the? I'm pretty sure you did some of the ACW ones. Did you paint?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I painted, and actually, I found them really straightforward to do, which is why I think I'll find it quite easy to do if I could just get on with it. I'm even just sort of struggling with things like, what undercoat to do them because I was going to do them black and then dry brush them white to try and get the highlights. And then I thought, no, that sounds like hard work because then I can't use contrast so easily. So I might just do them white, but I don't like undercoating white. So I thought, should I do them tan because that's kind of a nice natural color. A lot of the uniform's going to be. I don't know. So all this sort of stuff's going around in my head.
I
just need to get on and frigging do it.
I've just used the same technique I do my ACW, which is really, really rough, fast block painting. It's not even neat, not even anywhere approaching neat. Heavy wash, and that hides every mistake. And after that, it's just highlighting. And I think if you tried to, I was trying to explain to my mate because I've given him half my pusher pipe box because I'm never going to paint all of it, and at least two of us can suffer the pain of painting them.
It's decent, obviously.
And so he's never painted that scale before. He's painted one where he got a sprue free with War Games Illustrated, and he said he really enjoyed painting one of the commanders. He said it was a completely different way of painting, and he was it turned out really well. So I just said, with this scale, for me, washes are your friend. They really are your friend. That's just the way. Because one strip, it looks good, but what you got to remember is no one's going to recognize one strip when you've got an entire.
They're not going to see it. They're not going to see it, are they?
No,
exactly.
And,
they're just not going to see it. And you're right.
It literally is the overall effect. That's the best way to think about it.
I think that's how I'm going to tackle it. It's just block paint, heavy wash. And I might not even bother highlighting. I might not even bother, depending on if they look half decent. I might just give them a slight dry brush and that's about it. So, Bricker City, is the one. He will play with unpainted miniatures. There he said it.
Good.
There you go.
Done. No, I think if each their own. If that's what you tolerate, it's fine.
Like Martin said, I think with board games, I don't paint the miniatures, so I've not painted them for Hero Quest. I've not painted them for Dark Souls. I just think having unpainted miniatures, it gives it that old school vibe. I don't know what it is. It's just something. Even when I got Hero Quest, the thought of painting those figures or even Dark Souls never crossed my mind. Never did.
No, true.
It's funny. I never thought it was a thing, really, because I don't play many board games these days, but it never, and I used to, it never really occurred to me to paint them. And when you guys all started talking about painting counters, I just thought, oh, well, would you paint your Monopoly? No,
I want to paint Hero Quest. I don't know why. I just want to paint Hero Quest. Well, I am painting it at the moment, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I see it more as I don't see it as per board game. I see it more as a skirmish miniature game. I don't know why.
I can honestly say I've never been so excited by a piece of kit than a working door.
Oh, I got that. That's yeah, it's cool. I've free that Necromunda stuff. The doors. Yeah, they're cool. Lift them up and down.
That's
smart.
brilliant. That is really, really good. Small things amuse small minds.
Yes. Apparently, you needed to turnip that dinosaur.
Yes, I don't know.
That would be the ultimate turnip.
I know, but it's going to be
the size of it. You would need an actual turnip. It's massive.
I'd be buying four loads of Vallejo mud.
I'm going to find out how much it is.
Also, you need a new mortgage. You need a mortgage to pay for the damn thing. Jeez.
Yeah, I think that might be on the old expensive side.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also, again, it's that rushing into things. It's like me last week and the week before that. I was like bang about Vietnam. You all right?
Yeah, I just saw the price.
Go on, lay it on us, brother. How much?
It's $199.99.
Gee whiz.
And there's two versions of it. You get right. Okay, so it's $199, and then you get there's like a bundle, a pre-release purchase bundle. So if you buy it, you then get extra models worth $70 as well. You get the massive scenic base, the hunting 6 raptors to put on the bases. Oh, and 6 stickers.
Stickers.
Ooh.
Oh, stickers! That's done it. I love it.
So it is a foot. It is a foot high.
Gee,
it's a foot high and a foot long.
I wouldn't get away with buying that. Laura would go fucking apeshit if I bought that. Literally, I think my divorce would be finalised.
I like it. Just says in-game role, battlefield role, restricted heavy monster. Imagine buying that, and then none of your friends agree to play at the level of points or whatever it is that you can be able to take.
Oh my god.
You can have a version where it's got drums on it.
That is cool though.
Wow.
It's the Titan of Conquest.
Do the Games Workshop still do that Tau ship? It's like £1,000.
Yeah, the Manta Ray.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, the Forge World one. Yeah, they still do it. Yeah, the biggest model they've ever done. Yeah, it's huge. It's like the size of I don't know. I think it's about 1.5 feet across in it or something like that.
No, it's massive, and you get ships inside the ship, and you get loads of Tau warriors as well.
Yeah, fish people are one. Apparently, Dom, you should. I don't know. You should just. That must be. It's different. Yeah, Dom. What we got? What's he put here for? Currently 4 projects in the Don. He's got 4 projects in the works for Adepticon. Like others, I just rotate. Oh, Don. Speaking of Adepticon, it could be a go. I'm about 70% of the way.
Halfway across the Atlantic, then, is that right?
Yeah, about that. I get to Greenland. Just yeah, I need somewhere to stay, and I've been looking how expensive the hotels are. Holy shit! But
America,
yes.
baby.
Yeah. Can't even sleep in my car. Can't even take that with me. Um,
I'm sure you can blag a room. You can just say, I'm from the famous PCP. Yeah.
yeah, Don will sort me out. Don will sort me out. Funny, sort me out.
Tim says, utter bollocks. It depends why history nerdism a foot high model. Yeah, but it wins on cool.
It does win on cool. It absolutely wins on cool. Do you know what would be a really cool model in? Would be one of the rail guns that used to shoot across from France over into Calais and Dover that the Germans had. Imagine that. Yeah. Big Bertha. Is it Big Bertha? Is it or what are they called?
Big Bertha was First World War, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, what's the bloody gun's name? You know what I mean? The railway guns.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Imagine having one of them in full 1/56 scale. That would be a board in its own, wouldn't it? That would.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've just thought of another another project I want to start this year. It's all because of this. So when you guys were in Nottingham, Martin kindly picked this up for me.
I did. I was standing behind a man.
Yes.
£1,500 or £1,000 on a miniature.
Yeah, that was insane. You literally just dropped it like it was nothing. Here you go.
So with this, back in the early 90s, me and my friend who no longer war games, he had that book, and we used to use Chaos Warbands, sort of 5 or 6 figures, and they were all conversions. And it was just the old school Warhammer Fantasy Battle rules. You get it actually in the book. I'm going to try and convince my mate to try and get involved in that, because I want to buy a bunch of Chaos stuff and just convert them into a warband, and you play it on a really small board. And
you're up for using non-GW models?
Oh yeah.
You know that North Star, who make the Stargrave models, they've got a barbarian set for Frostgrave. So you've got the barbarian set, you've got the adventurers, the cultists, you've got the gnolls as well, and so those quality that you're painting up at the minute. They've got the equivalent in fantasy, so you can make a lovely
I'll definitely be looking into that.
Oh, it's the Carl Gustav gun from Rich. Thanks, Rich.
Well done. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that would be rather cool. The car was deployed at There we go. Here's a bit of history for us here. Enjoy you, baby. The car was deployed at Sebastopol and Leningrad. Oh, okay. Did not know that. Jesus Christ, I would not like to have been getting shelled by that gun. Let's put it that way.
Oh, how cool does that look? Look at that. Hey!
Oh, looks good, man. You could magnetize it as well. Ouch.
I might do that, but what I'm doing, I'm just making loads of small modular pieces that I can connect together.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And then you can just play about with it, can't you?
I'm really chuffed with that. That is brilliant.
Nice, man.
And another thing as well is I've got this staircase as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a decent 3D print for some stairs. Oh, drink again, please.
I will say, really well.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, the mutation tape. Oh, it's the same with the Rogue Trader one. I've been looking at that mutation.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the funniest, because with the warband rules from Realms of Chaos, the aim is to get your warband leader to become like a chaos
champion,
like like a demon prince or something like that. But if they get too many mutations, they could just become a chaos spawn instead.
Oh no!
Which is always fun.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't want to be a chaos spawn? No. It's interesting to see though. A lot of people at the moment. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but on the Facebook group, there is a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Careful.
No. It's not a bad thing. There's a lot more 3D printed stuff on there compared to what there used to be. If that makes sense. It seems to be becoming a lot more popular. I've seen a lot more 3D printed sculpts.
I think it's just the availability of them, isn't it?
No,
Just,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think
just
so,
so
yeah.
much more stuff out there, and also the ease of getting it printed, or having a printer of your own. I think it's just so much there. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. You caught me out, Martin.
What?
Or Dom in the thing, yeah. Yeah. Viewers pictures. Yeah, I completely forgot. Surprise. I did the other ones. I remembered those, but I completely fucking forgot. Oh, shit the bed. It wouldn't be my episode without forgetting something, wouldn't it? So yeah, apologies for that this week. We'll have to make up for it next time. I can only apologise. There was some good stuff as well, which is really frustrating. There was actually
You walked off again, mate.
Hey, I didn't even turn my head that time. Oh, Louis baby. He's getting a Saturn 2 this month for sure. Very nice. I like the sound of that. Need any help or advice? Drop me a message.
Prussian Landwehr STLs.
Yeah. Oh, well, there are several Prussian Landwehr STLs that are not just in marching pose, which is even more interesting. Surely you got the Red Lancers. They were awesome. Yeah, I'm being called a plonker. Yeah, of course. Yes, I know. I know I'm a plonker. Apologies. But yeah. So final thoughts then. If you work in progress, what point would you say that you're on the downhill spiral? What point do you think to myself, yeah, I'm on the home stretch now, when you're doing your models, when you're in your work in progress mode?
When I can get them on the table, when there's enough to fight a game.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whether it's a short, sharp practice game or a muskets and tomahawks or a full blown.
You're getting there, yeah.
Yeah. Once you got enough to do that, then I feel it's like the Bruce's project I finished recently. Well, finished. I got enough to.
Yeah, there you go. You're starting it again.
It's never going to stop because I think, like Martin said earlier, I don't think any of those projects really ever die entirely. They just slow down. But once you got enough to fight the game, so I had enough figures to fight both sides, and then I added a couple more units, and I know I'll add a few more. That's for sure. But I think that to me that's the point. Once it's there for the game, then I'm happy. I feel the back's been broken on it.
Yeah. Wait, what about you, Mine?
If you mean for a project, then I'd probably agree with Dom. Once I have enough to play a game, but the majority of my projects now, I just keep building things to try and have cool games and do cool like narrative stuff, in my mind. So I don't think they'll ever particularly end because I always find ways to shoehorn stuff into it. I mean, the Anglo-Zulu War, the amount of stuff I've got and sort of researched and things that I'm just trying to find, just random ways of just pushing stuff in. If you mean actually just painting like a unit, then it would probably be once I'm about to start the base. I would then say I've broken the back a bit, and I'm that's the downward switch. Although sometimes that can take almost as long as the model, depending on one thing, because especially when it comes to arranging them on the basis, when you're trying to do something a little bit more interesting, and you sit there and grumble like, do I cram 6-7 models onto this base, or do I have only 5? And just have them in an interesting pose, and then that leaves 2 over for the next unit, which I do. So I'll paint up 16, 17 guys thinking I'm going to put these together. And then when I actually come to doing the base, I'm like, well, actually, I could have a card, because I had that guy in that last unit who had his shield up in the air with the arrow in it. So to put him like that and make it look a bit more organic, I sacrificed putting 2 more guys near him because I wanted him to kind of like stand out a little bit, and I'll just use them on the next one. So yeah, it'd be when it comes to the basing.
Oh, that's cool. What about you, Steve?
When I've got, so with bolt action, it's once the infantry are all done, I'm on easy streak because I just focus on the vehicles after that, and I just enjoy vehicles.
Oh, right. So for you, the bulk of it is going to be just get the infantry done, and then you don't mind, even if you've got a load of tanks,
I mean, tanks, vehicles, weapons teams don't bother me. But once the infantry's done, I know that all the chutney's out of the way, so it's it's onto the things that I actually enjoy doing. I mean, I
That's
never used to be like this. I used to love painting infantry, but I just don't anymore. I just prefer
Vehicles.
individual figures or vehicles.
That's just reminded me. I'll tell you. I'll tell you afterwards. That's just reminded me.
No, that's cool. No, that's all right. So, yeah, it's Ken's comment about the rail. Oh my god, that's a big gun.
It's a big model.
That's a big model. Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's that'd be a very cool piece to play with, though. Definitely. No, that's cool. But no, it's been an interesting week. Something a bit different. Whose turn is it next week?
It's me, but there'll be a change in the schedule because we're going to do the survey, which I have to do next month because the people that we use for doing the survey have locked our account, so I need to sort that out. So
that's handy.
I will pick another subject, and then the Great Plastic Crack survey will be next month, and I'll get it all up ahead of time. I went to go and post it, and it wouldn't let me publish it. And rather than going for a brand new website and learning a new system and redoing all the questions, I thought I just need to sit and sort it out. So I will put up the topic, but that'll be over on my channel next Monday.
No, that's cool. No, that's
Awesome.
cool. Yeah. I hope everyone looking forward to the old the survey. It is one of the highlights of the year, isn't it? We look forward to that. So yeah, no, check out Martin's channel next week. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Thank you everybody who's watching on the replay again, and thanks everyone for watching. We will see you again next time, and bye for now. If I can find the outro. Where are you, outro? There you are. Outro.